I was born in a small town called Prattville, Alabama. And I lived there with my mother, my father, and there were 9 siblings, including me. And we had a comfortable life. There were 2 big businesses in that particular town, and one was the cotton gin, and the other one was the gin shop. Luckily, my father worked at the cotton mill. I think my mother went to 8th grade, and she believed in education. She said that she wanted all her children to get the education that she did not get. So even though we lived in a segregated town, I went to a segregated school, but our teachers, we had young teachers that graduated from Alabama State, which was in Montgomery, and other places, and they came to our school. So we had, I think that we really received a good education because those black teachers wanted to make sure that those little black children got a good education. It was fun going to high school, and it was fun being with the people, the children and everything, because we all lived in the community together, and we all had chores to do in the evening, and this is what made it flow so good. And one thing about it, we obeyed our mother. We did. I could pat myself on the back and say we did. We obeyed our mother. If we had a chore to do, we did our chore. But after that was finished, we went out to play. We used to play softball. We loved to play softball. Hopscotch, we used to play. And believe it or not, I got on the ground and I used to shoot marbles with my brother. It was fun. But we had lots of fresh food. We had a pig. We always had a pig. My mother raised them, and my father all the time. They would raise it because in the winter, they would kill a pig. And we had plenty of meat. Occasionally, my uncle, my mother's brother, which didn't live far from us, would kill a cow. And we had beef. So we were pretty good. My mother used to try to teach me how to milk a cow. And let me tell you, me trying to milk the cow, because I was afraid of the cow. You know, it's funny that we grew up in the South, but we tried to do all these things, but let me tell you, we were not farmers. We were not farmers. Martin Luther King came to Montgomery. He had graduated from college, and he was working on his dissertation, and he became the minister of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery at that time in '55. And that was the time when Rosa Parks decided, when she was coming home from work, that she did not want to get up from her seat anymore for the white people on the bus. So the bus driver that evening, the bus was full, and the bus driver asked them to get up. And she refused. She just refused to move. The other ones got up. And what they did was they arrested her. She had to get out on bond, and then she had to pay a fine. The people in Montgomery were very angry about it because, see, they were having that problem because they lived there and they rode those buses, and a lot of the black people kept that bus company going because the white people drove their cars to work. So you had the black people who were really supporting the system. And they said that they were tired of it, so they needed to do something about it. So Dr. King, he was new in the community, but they knew of him. And that's when all the councilmen and everything, they got together, and they had a meeting, and they elected him to be their leader. And that's when the civil rights started. The lunch counters, where in the back were the black people, and in the front were the white people. And so that was segregation. And they also, where you get water to drink, they will have two fountains right there together. One said colored and the other one said white. They started sit-ins, walking and sit-ins. I remember my father participated in the walk. When they had the Civil Rights March, the movement there, when they started segregating the schools, my sister joined the march. And they marched until the schools were integrated. And the schools in Alabama were integrated. And my sister Glenda and my nephew, they went to the integrated schools in Prattville. And that was one effect that Martin Luther King had on my family that way. And I graduated from high school in 1958. But when I graduated from high school, that's when I left Alabama. And the reason that I left was because I wasn't able to get jobs like the white people were, because they didn't let us as black people work in the supermarket and the department stores. So that's why a lot of people left and they went north, because in north there was no problem. And I came to New York to live with my sister, and that's where I finished my education. I went to college, got my bachelor's and my master's in New York. I graduated with my master's in 1993 in education. So, you know, no matter your age, you can always continue to do what you want to do. And one thing that I would like to tell young people, to stay in school, get an education. But as you're in school, getting an education, always put God in front. You know, when we were in Sunday school, we had to learn different scriptures. And one of them was John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. As long as they keep that with them. And the 23rd song, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He restoreth my soul. You know, sometimes we as a people have to, you know, like lie down in green pastures and be still. And let God know that he's God. Because with God, everything is possible.